Yeah, so I love the G.I. Joe Classified toy line, honestly, and it's always nice to see other people talk about online as well and have their own little communities. But as always, there's always that one douchebag that kind of ruins it for everyone. And honestly, this was something that I wasn't even thinking too much about to talk about, and it's pretty much just one channel that has caused nothing but issues throughout the both YouTube and Instagram, surprisingly, and to a certain extent I know it kind of seems weird of me to kind of put my 2 cents into this and kind of talk about my feelings and thoughts about this whole situation. And of course, the situation is revolving around a YouTube channel called Viper Island. I just want to make one thing sure. I've had been very aware of this channel for quite a long time. I mean, honestly, when I first started getting into G.I. Joe Classifieds, I remember he was actually one of the sort of first channels I actually started to watch. Only because he kind of centers everything around talking about some of the new releases and stuff like that. And of course, their Hasbro's future catalogs and all that. You get how that works. He's pretty much one of those channels that kind of talks about G.I. Joe, and like some of their newest things going on, pretty much some bullshit you've heard 100 times. Honestly, I'm not really gonna sugarcoat it, especially some of the controversies I'm about to talk about today, because there's a lot. I mean, there is so much to get into, honestly. Like, I don't even know where to start. I had to like record this video a whole bunch of times just to kind of get it right, because there is so much to fathom here. But I'm just gonna jump straight to the point. So I'm gonna reverse back a little bit and talk about sort of my beginnings with the toy line. I've always liked the idea, of like, the G.I. Joe figures, and of course that whole sort of army aesthetic and all that. And I remember one of my first figures actually being like one of the Cobra officers, specifically the Python Patrol. I mean, that was yeah, pretty good memories. I think it's about maybe more than a year ago or so I started to get into the toy line. And like I said, he was actually one of the first channels I started watching, because obviously, I mean, where else are you going to go? Because literally, if you go on YouTube and if you look up G.I. Joe Classifieds, I swear, not the top search, but if you scroll down, you would eventually find his name, and it's like, oh, okay, and it seems legit. But when you actually start to sort of look more into the actual person the host really is, honestly, it's really upsetting. Like, really. And I just had to get my thoughts out on this because I have a lot to say, but I mean a lot. But before I even get to that, a couple things first. Let me fix my camera a little bit, just to kind of, yeah, there we go. Yeah, all right. Okay, so let's begin, right? So who is Viper Island? Honestly, I mean, not even I'm not too sure, because pretty much a lot of the stuff that he talks about, he just kind of just talks like, how do I even say it? I wouldn't really say leaks, but they're mostly like stuff that we've already heard about. So he'll cover something about a specific figure, even though it's already been talked about 100 times and all that. Basically, he's the definition of coming into the party a little bit too late, which, look, it's fine. That happens to everybody. That happens to me all the time. Sometimes there's so many things that I want to talk about and I can't, because life gets busy, and I waited too long, so it's like I can't necessarily talk about it. You get the point. But what's been going on a lot within the community, of course, well, I wouldn't really say it's exactly has to do with GI Joe, but trust me, honestly, like I said, I don't even know where to start, because basically a lot of copyright bullshit going on, because basically he's been caught within numerous occasions, basically stealing content from other YouTubers, and of course, honestly, this rabbit hole goes a whole long way. And I'm not sure if this is like the most recent, but I know that one of the most recent things that's been going on is that he actually stole an image of one of the prototypes for an upcoming figure for Nemesis Immortal, which is he's like one of the weird bad guys from the GI Joe cartoon movie. In case you're a little confused, from what I've heard, that's not actually his name. They call him that because I guess his original name has something to do with some weird copyright issue with Hasbro or something like that. I have no idea. Basically, long story short, I believe he stole this image from the 3P OA podcast. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying. Listen, there's a lot of names I gotta remember here. All right, so just bear with me. Basically, yeah, he steals content. Basically, it's like he'll take an image from somewhere without really giving it the proper credit, which obviously you kind of have to do that. That's not a you could just kind of take or deal. You know what I mean? A lot of people have even gone as far as to call him Swiper Island because of that, because he just swipes it. He just takes it. You know what I mean? So he steals pictures of leaked, action figures and all that without giving the proper credit. And on top of that, he just talks about the same bullshit all over and over, same stuff that we've all heard 100 times or so, which, okay, fine, that's not even it. But obviously the big issue here is that pretty much stole an image that came from another YouTuber or another, whatever. And eventually that started to spiral out of control because when they eventually said something, of course he snaps back. The next thing you know, literally like his I think the host was Ryan or so. I don't know. I know there's like a lot of people in charge of that podcast. Ryan, his Instagram account was actually taken down due to like Instagram's like kind of weird way that their copyright system works. Like if you wanted to strike down somebody, it's like really easy for some odd reason. And don't get me wrong, YouTube has always had that issue as well. So literally, he's not just Viper Island is not just screwing up people on YouTube. He's also screwing them up on Instagram as well. So that's pretty sad and unfortunate. And on top of that, I mean, honestly, one of the things that caught me by surprise, I'm gonna get a little bit off topic, just a tiny bit, because this actually has to do with what he did recently on his channel, where he actually uploaded the entire G.I. Joe movie on his channel. And we're not talking like the Rise of Cobra and Retribution films. No. We're talking like the actual first one based off of the animated series. He actually uploaded an entire movie to YouTube. And when I first heard that, I was like, wait a minute. That's like a big no-no here on YouTube. I mean, if it's one thing for sure when it comes to like copyright and like what you're allowed to put and what you're not, definitely one of the biggest rules here on YouTube is that you cannot upload entire movies on here, mostly because a lot of people in the past, and I used to see this a lot, and you guys probably seen it too, usually do it for monetary gain, obviously. I mean, if you have a lot of subs and stuff, and if you have the ability to put ads in your videos, definitely what I've seen in the past, and I definitely remembered this of like, well, I mean, I'm still a horror fan, but like when I was getting into it and like I wanted to watch the Evil Dead movie, specifically the second one, and I thought I found it for free on YouTube, and I remember watching it. I couldn't even watch the whole thing because there were just endless ads on there, but there was just so many of them. But that's why YouTube implemented that rule to begin with, where you're not supposed to upload movies because of that. Not to mention that obviously their entire movies, it belongs to someone, you know what I mean? It's not really yours. So that makes sense. You can't really do that. So for what reason Viper Island did that, I honestly have no clue why, because honestly, I'm surprised that didn't cause too much issues on his channel, because the worst that he got, from what I've heard, is that I think like the watch time and the hours he got from that, he probably lost it, but all those views and subs that he got, he still kept those, which is like, why? Like, no, you can't do that. So it's like, okay. So of course, it's the same cycle when people call him out for it, which in this case, it's very reasonable. Everything I'm about to say right now is very reasonable at best. All these other YouTubers that I'm going to mention, I'm just going to say it right now, Articulated Ninja, Retro Blasting, Analog Toys, they all made very good points as to why this dude is just such a menace. And it's like, I don't get why so many other people don't see that, because I made the big mistake of actually like going around his community tab and stuff like that, and the comments, I think they're as dumb as he is. It's like astonishingly ridiculous as to how many people just like, I'm sorry, pardon my language, they just suck his dick, honestly. It's like, oh, don't worry about what the haters say. And then like, I'm like, did they not realize what's going on here? Because trust me, he's done a lot of other bad stuff too, don't get me wrong. Mostly filing like fake copyrights and all that. And unfortunately, like I said, both YouTube's and Instagram's, like the way that their sort of copyright and striking rules work, it's really bizarre, and it's a system that's pretty much made to be abused. And basically, basically the way it works is if I wanted to strike down a channel or an account for whatever weird reason or so, I gotta like file some sort of strike that's like compatible with like what they did. So like, basically, if I were to make up some bullshit like, oh, they stole from me, or if I were to say like, oh, they're using this like copyrighted material, whether it's music or like a scene from a show or a film, basically stuff like that. But the way it works is the system, for some odd reason, if you want to fight against those claims and those strikes, for some odd reason, they made it more harder for you, and they kind of make the person giving the strike some leniency, where it's like, okay, let's see how this plays out. But at the same time, it just kind of handicaps the person that gets to strike, because it basically takes them forever to kind of prove their innocence, which, And I gotta keep talking more about this because honestly, it's unfortunate and it's just really sad. And one of the things, the biggest things that pissed me off the most when reading some of those comments was people pretty much talking crap about analog toys, which that makes me like wow, because basically they one of them, and honestly, I'm not even gonna give them the credit for it. Obviously, I'm not gonna blast a comment or anything like that because you guys know why. But like basically person says something about how I guess because he was a veteran, like he has no right, and like calling him out on the bullshit he does. Which first of all, what does analog toys being a veteran has to do with like not really giving like giving his opinions on the whole thing? Because basically obviously they call him a you get the idea. They think that basically they're in the wrong, even though Viper Island's the one that's in the wrong for real. But you get the point, honestly. I mean, this whole thing, it's such a huge mess, and it's like I hate that this one guy messes it up for everyone. And to make things worse, I think the one thing or one of many things that just makes it all worse is when he does these live streams or like his podcast or whatever, usually his son is in it. And I guess apparently he said that now his son has been getting like a lot of hate or so, and he's been attacked, which yeah, don't get me wrong, that's pretty bad. I mean, that's extremely unfortunate that now his kids get stuck into this whole thing just because he's a piece of crap. And yes, I do mean kids, because he does have a daughter too, so that just makes this whole thing really really sad. Like I said, going after the children, I never understood that. I don't really get why so many people do that. So in this case, he's in the right for that. Obviously, his kids shouldn't be getting like, those kind of attacks or whatever because they're kids. But at the same time, he does shoulder the blame a little bit for a lot of the stupid stuff that he's done because, I'm like, that doesn't really give you a pass. You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't even know where to like keep going with this. I feel like the more I talk about it, the more upset I get because one of the big reasons why I wanted to talk about this so much, it's because I know what it's like to be part of a community, and then there's always that one person that ruins it for everyone. And honestly, reasons like that is why I just generally don't like to join any kind of communities at all. I mean, honestly, I've had like the worst luck in the past and all that. I probably mentioned like one or two incidents of that happening, but still, this just like adds on to why you just have to be careful because honestly, this is all over toys, for crying out loud. Like freaking GI Joe classifieds, come on now. I mean, what happened to the fun of it? You get this guy basically, first of all, let's go over the list of stuff that he's done. He's basically stolen images from other YouTubers, and he even took I don't remember what it was. I'm pretty sure it was like a panel from Hasbro. I don't know if it was from like a San Diego Comic-Con or if it was like one of those Hasbro Pulse things where they talk about upcoming figures. He actually did stole like an entire video that was actually uploaded from another channel, and I guess he kind of edited it in a way to make it look like that it was his. I can't really say 100% for sure, only because I'm mostly really going by what other people has said, and I'm also going by what I've seen. And honestly, it all makes sense as to why like this guy, it's like Jesus, and a lot of people are like, heck, you know in a perfect world, he would probably apologize and maybe, I don't know, stop doing the crap that he's doing. I've even seen some other people be like, nah, he should delete his channel entirely. And I was like, damn, it's bad when it's like you get other people, when they talk about this controversy with him, it's like, it's not even one of those oh, this guy, he did this, he did that. No, a lot of people are furious. People are like, oh, fuck this guy. Oh, I can't believe he would do this. And I'm like, well, people are actually mad. And it may sound like I'm kind of exaggerating this whole thing a little bit, but trust me, if you've seen a lot of other people's videos talking about this issue, you'll understand it a little bit better. With me, obviously I'm a little bit more loose. It's like, as someone who actually did used to watch his content at some point, it's like, it's really sad. And listen, the moment I stopped watching his videos, I remember even a long time ago too, there was actually one video where he did mention like other channels actually stealing his stuff. And then it became like this whole other thing where like there was even some other YouTubers, that talked about GI Joe and stuff like that. They were getting harassed because they were being accused of stealing Viper Islands, like content and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell? And I remember too hearing about that. And I want to go a little bit further back with his son because he does a lot of these podcasts with him. And I can't really remember what video, but I remember him talking about, all the haters and all that and all the theft. He did talk about that, like, when he next to his son. So I was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you influencing this? Like, you really shouldn't. It's just terrible. So it's like, you probably think, if he was reasonable, he would, stop doing what he was doing. But here's the problem. Now he's trying to do damage control because he did lost a lot of subscribers from this whole entire thing. But it does seem like that now he's trying to sort of regain whatever he got back. But at the same time, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to fix his image per se, because think about it. He did a lot of pretty bad stuff. Like I said, it sounds like I'm exaggerating a little bit, but mind you, this dude basically attacks other channels, sends out false copyright claims, and of course, remember, he shut down an entire Instagram account. Like, poor Ryan. Are you kidding me? I don't even know if it's possible. Can he even get his Instagram account back? Like, I don't know. Like, what can you do? So a little bit back to what he's been doing recently. Viper Island. I guess he's like Now I did heard that now this was actually a little trick that I discovered a while ago too, and this has to do with like when you make live videos and stuff like that, where those type of videos, they don't really gain the most attraction. So unless you put them in a playlist of some sort, those videos tend to get pretty buried and they kind of disappear. But I guess what's been going on is that he's been advertising his older videos just to sort of get some of his viewers back or so. I don't know how true that is. That's just what I've heard. It sounds plausible because to a certain extent, that's kind of why I stopped doing live videos, because they didn't really get as many views as I wanted them to, but you get the point. So it does seem like he's trying to sort of double down on everything, and it doesn't seem like he's going to learn his lesson anytime soon. So it's like, okay, I don't know what to say. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, this is mostly for like people that love G.I. Joe, honestly. This doesn't really have anything to do with, the other people, that loves like Marvel Legends and stuff like that. I'm just saying it's really unfortunate, as to what's going on. Will this problem continue? Will it eventually get fixed? Honestly, I have no idea. So, that's just kind of my 2 cents, just from seeing all this, because like I said, I hate when you get into something and it's like you join a group, whatever, you're having fun and all that, and then there's always that one person that just ruins it. So it's like, okay. And from past experiences and all that, that's really not fun dealing with like someone who's a shitty person. And mind you, I won't mention like any names from those kind of communities and all that. The only reason why I'm dropping names like Analog Toys and Retro Blasting and all that, it's because those are people that have done genuinely good jobs, and like their videos are not only entertaining, but they actually care about the stuff that they talk about, and they're actually entertaining. Unlike Viper Island, where it's just the same sort of stuff over and over and over again, where it's a type of content that isn't exactly going to keep you awake and make you want to stay, but at the same time, it might seem harmless at best because he's still uploading his videos like if everything is fine, even though it really isn't. But again, I don't know. I mean, I really hope this doesn't happen again in the future with other people. I'm just sending this out as a warning, as to please be careful. Because don't get me wrong, just because I might have 1,000 subscribers and stuff like that, I'm still relatively new. So it's like, I hate, as someone who's still sort of new to this type of content, is seeing all this. It's kind of scary, not gonna lie. I'm gonna say it again. My channel has about like 1,400 something subscribers, whatever, but my channel is still pretty young. We're still a little bit in the beginning stages, even though I've uploaded like 700 videos at this point, whatever, So, it's good to learn about stuff like this, even if like you're not part of any kind of group and all that. I'm just, of course, making this video not just from experiences and, of course, from what I've seen, but also as a warning to just be a little careful and be diligent as to, like, who you talk with and all that online. Because, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I were to get in trouble, a random ass channel. Because, listen, I'm going to be honest, he seems like that. Like, Viper Island, you have to be very careful with him. He definitely seems like the type of person where if you were to make a video about him, he will find a way to, shut you down one way or another. I mean, I haven't done any sort of copyright stuff lately, so I have no idea how he's going to shut me down, but, I really hope it doesn't get to that point. In fact, a small part of me kind of hopes that this video doesn't reach that far because of that, but you get the point. I don't want to talk about this anymore. This guy's full of shit. That's pretty much it. So, Be careful. Also, don't be stupid like his viewers, because my God, just seeing those comments though, that just wow, I don't know what it is. And mind you, he does delete comments too. So if you were to say something, oh no, like he will delete your comment if you were to mention something about stuff that he's done. So trust me. Yeah. So until then, that's about it. So on to some actual good stuff, I guess. I got some more Masterverse figures. Right, you know. I mean, I got a whole bunch of them. I bought Man at Arms. I bought Triclops. I mean, like, you know, I should have done like an unboxing video today, but it's like I don't know. I mean, it's been such a long time, and it's like I don't know. I haven't really talked about Masters of the Universe that much to really kind of warrant that, because I have been teasing in a couple of videos that I plan on making toy reviews of that somewhere in the future. We just got back into, you know, making, you know, like the Godzilla toy reviews, because I did promise that a while ago, but I was on a long hiatus due to personal stuff and all. So now we should be back on track. I'm gonna try and of course review the next figure. Sorry, which is gonna be Godzilla with Heat Ray. Just to kind of show some of the other figures I got. I also bought Trapjaw, and on top of that, I also bought the Cult Triclops as well as Too Bad. I bought them all on Amazon basically. So if you buy all of them at once, well, I was lucky enough that they all showed up, so that's pretty good. These are definitely toys I would love to cover somewhere in the future. GI Joe. That's the unfortunate thing too. I barely talk about GI Joe on my channel, and yet I see so much of this bullshit happening, and it's like no. So final word: stay away from Viper Island. Stay away. So that's about it. I don't even want to talk about it no more. So peace out.